Welcome, everyone. A warm good evening to all of you on this open discussion. And today's topic is needs versus neediness. Are my needs bad? So this is going to be our usual open discussion. A few new people have joined. So how these discussions go is we keep it conversational. So all of us are going to talk. Whenever you want to talk, share any experience, story, or ask a question, you can raise your hand and then we will ask your name. And it's going to be a two-way conversation. So it's not like we are going to deliver anything on this topic or as such. So we will all just talk and share our views. Great. So as today's topic is needs versus neediness, right? So a lot of times how we have grown in our life, especially in our childhood, when we see that whenever we needed something, a lot of times we were told that your needs are not right. You're not supposed to ask for that. You cannot want that. This is not right. If you do this, you are a bad girl, a bad boy, and tons of things, right? Which creates a lot of confusion in our being at times, where every time we have a need, and there are different kinds of needs we can have, but every time it occurs to us, there is also a feeling that comes inside us that, oh God, maybe I'm being too needy, I shouldn't ask for this. If I ask for this, I would sound selfish. If I ask for this, I don't know how the other person is going to perceive me, what they're going to think about me. I'll be judged. I'll be such a bad person for having this need, and tons of such, contradictory thoughts and those fights, happening inside us where we have a need, and yet we tend to, suppress that need, not talk about it, not ask for it, not communicate about it. So that's actually the battle which happens inside us. I would like to know from you guys as well. Would you like to share about, what is the difference between a need and being needy in your perception? So any of you who wants to talk, you can just raise your hand and let us know. Yes, Mita, you
Yeah,
want to
hi
add anything?
Anamika. More than adding, I had a question here, as in needy is what I understood, but the other part of topic neediness, I didn't really understand that.
No, the topic is needs versus neediness.
Needs I understood.
Hmm.
Neediness, I haven't got it really.
Okay. So a need is like a few examples of, these needs could be, let's suppose, physiological needs. So it's not as in, I have that need and you don't have that need. So clothing is a need, food is a need, going to toilet is a need, taking bath is a need, brushing our teeth is a need, and eating food is a need, and all sorts of, physiological, and then comes biological and then physical needs that we all have, right? So these are some examples of the gross level needs. Then comes the emotional needs, right? That we all want to be heard, to be seen, to be loved, to be cherished, celebrated, accepted, and all of these things. So these needs come at the side of, more emotional needs. We want to have fun in life. We want to feel safe in life. We want to have, deep connections with people. We want to know people at such a deeper level. Some emotional needs. Then we can talk about intellectual needs. So, being mentally, intellectually stimulated, learn new things, know about more things, have gain more knowledge. So all of these come under intellectual needs. So likewise, and then there could be other types of needs as well, like what I can say, energetic needs, spiritual needs.
Spiritual. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Then sexual needs, all of these different categories of needs we have, right? So when consciously, all of us as humans, when we acknowledge that, okay, these are my needs, so needs can be subjective. They can, from person to person, they can have different variations, types, categories, etc. But in reality, all of us as humans have needs, right? But when consciously we deny this fact that we have needs, we may suppress it, we may not want to meet that need, and we may have, all kinds of inhibitions which stops us from asking for it, because of course at some point of time we were denied that need and we got hurt. Now consciously we don't know how to communicate, we don't know how to ask for it, we don't know how to meet our needs ourselves. So even though we think that we can suppress it, but actually there is no way to suppress your need, it just backfires. So instead, what happens to us as humans? Subconsciously, we find ways to meet that need. Hmm? So the needs which we do not meet consciously, which we don't know how to meet, the subconscious will somehow figure out, some or the other way to meet that need. And when that is done, not consciously but unconsciously, that becomes neediness, right? Where let's suppose I want you to make food for me, Smita, right? I am very tired, I'm your friend, I come home and I am not able to tell you that, Smita, can you please cook for me or do this, because I'm feeling that I don't know how. So Smita will think that I don't respect her and all that, so I start acting like, oh, I'm so unwell, this bad thing happened to me, this happened to me, that happened to me. And I will show you that I need that attention, I need you to do something for me. And then you will ask me, can I do something for you, do I cook for you, and this and that. And then also I'm not able to say yes or anything. And somehow I'll give in that, okay, that is so sweet of you. So I didn't ask you that so I have a need, let's suppose, to get attention, and I'm not able to ask you, or to get me food, I'm not able to ask you, and then I find out all the ways in which I don't look bad according to my own definition, and I get it done without even telling you that I'm getting this done from you. There comes neediness. And when neediness comes, with it comes all the people pleasing things, codependency. When we don't know in healthy ways how we can meet our needs, we adapt all the different manipulative ways to meet it subconsciously. Where and why subconsciously? Because then there is no fight, because we are not getting our needs met, we are just acting out, we are doing some or the other kind of acting, and we are being needy because we want attention, we want you to do certain things, behave a certain way, give us something. And yeah, so that's that constant, it's like an empty vessel. It's empty, I don't have resources to fulfill it, I want others to fulfill all of those resources, or all of those things in my utensils, so I just do things to get it done, and that's being needy. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, got it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Smita. Yes, so anybody would like to now add anything, that have you ever done this, has anybody else done this with you, you have observed this, and in your life have you encountered the situation where it's kind of like need versus neediness? So open to you guys, anything to add? Nobody has anything to add? Any? Yes, Prerna, go ahead.
Hi Anamika, hi Aparna.
Hello.
Um,
Hi, Prerna.
yeah, it's so nice to be back with all of you after a long time. Yeah. So regarding the question that you asked, I have always felt that in relation to any person, like I feel the need to, I want to feel important.
Prerna, your voice is not very clear. It's a bit uh, थोड़ी दबी हुई सी आवाज आ रही
अभी ठीक है क्या? Is it better
है. A
now?
bit better. Um, not much better.
Okay.
Little better than before.
Maybe you can move on to the next person. I'll try to join from another device.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else wants to say anything? Yes, Rupali.
Regarding Karima. So
Hi,
basically,
Rupali.
hi. So basically, my question is on this topic that I have been always told by like my love interest many a times that I am being needy, and I have always been like told in that way all the time, even though I feel like I'm just asking the bare minimum, but I like that's what I keep on hearing, like you are being needy, you are being pushy, and this and that. So I really do not understand like why this comes, or what is it that I can change in myself that doesn't make me sound needy, or even if it's bare minimum, how can I convey that I am just asking the normal thing, it is not something that I am needy, because I at least I understand that I am not asking anything or anything that is too much, I'm just asking normal thing. So how can I work on this?
Right, right. And can you give any particular example in what thing you used to get this response?
Let's say just like if I wanted to talk and I was being told that I'm being needy or pushy, or let's say like somebody is um, like, let's say there was a topic wherein we are planning to meet up, and I just asked like, so how much time we will have, or how exactly, or whatever, like something related to the time that we will have together. So I was being told that I'm being needy now by asking this question.
Hmm. Hmm. Right. Right. Okay. So I don't know. I mean, we don't know, what the other person is going through from the other side. So we cannot comment on this situation like from both ends. But from your end, um, so let's suppose that you wanted to talk to this person, and if this person is, and did they used to give this response to you all the time or sometimes?
I think most of the times, or I would say
Hmm.
like some when that person wanted to talk, he could spend hours and hours talking to me, like 6 hours and whatever, whatnot. But when I had some need, when I wanted to talk something, I used to hear that. So that's what I can say.
Hmm. Hmm. And did you communicate this to them? Did you set a boundary with them that this is what you do and this is how I feel?
I just tried only once, like, why are we discussing this topic? This is out of context for right now. So I was just being like told that I was not told anything actually. I was just being yelled at, and that's it.
Hmm. Hmm. And yet you continued to be in that relationship for a very long time.
Yes, yes.
Hmm. Hmm. Right. So, the one of the most interesting part of um, and having this. Okay, so you answer this question for me. That what are your needs and what is your viewpoint about needs?
Like In terms of like being in a relationship, I think my need is that I need to be heard, and whenever I have some emotional needs, at least I should be able to express myself, and the other person can just listen to it, or just acknowledge, or just be a little bit positive or empathetic and just say that, yeah, I'm there, don't worry, or something like that. So just letting you express yourself. So that is what I would say is my need.
Right, right. Well, let's suppose having, somebody to listen to you, give you undivided attention is your need. Hmm?
Yeah, yeah.
And you did not convey this to the other person since the beginning. I mean, before the relationship started. So at that time, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and it went on for months and months, before the relationship and then after the relationship. And then when the water, got over the tub, that was the time when you were fed up and you asked that my need is not getting met.
I didn't ask actually like that, but maybe I was just trying to convey, convince, and complain sometimes. So that's how
Hmm.
it started.
Yes, 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 exactly. That is what we are talking about. That is in itself the difference between being needy and having a need. Having a need simply means that you are aware of your need, you acknowledge your need, you don't have a judgment or bias towards your need, and you directly, clearly communicate that need to your partner, right? While being the difference between having a need and being needy is on the needy side, we don't communicate clearly since the beginning, we don't set a boundary, we don't tell the other person what I need, what I want, how I want this to be. And then when it doesn't happen, we complain about it. So the other person, see, he was only being, see, he was treating you just the way you told him to treat you since the beginning. And then you set a boundary, right? So he did not want to honor your boundary, right? You were, I don't know if you set a boundary or you were just, telling him that thing, and he was not listening, because the thing is that people who benefit from you not having a boundary will not like it when you set one. First thing. Second thing is then that when you have a judgment about your need, when you think that if I ask for something, I'll be seen as a bad person, this person will reject me, leave me, abandon me, I'll be left alone, and we are operating from our own insecure attachment styles, right? Then we are, in most of the, not most of the cases, we are, almost everybody who's operating from this space is actually going to attract a person who is not capable of meeting your need. Because if there is a person who understands the importance of needs and who are capable enough to communicate clearly, and those people who are empowered enough to respect your needs, they will not feel attracted to you. So the only actually don't want you to have about your needs, because they can take advantage of you, right? They can get all their needs met, and you you will be drained, filling that their cup again and again and again, and you'll be drained out of your energy, right? So that comes on our part, and that is having needs, and that is the difference between having needs and being needy. Because having needs means that I know these are my needs and I know how to meet them. अगर तुमसे नहीं होगा तो मुझे ये पता है कि मुझे अपने नीड्स कैसे मीट करने हैं, एंड इफ इट इज बियॉन्ड माय वैल्यू सिस्टम, right? That, for an example, let's suppose somebody has a sexual need, they don't want to cheat their partner, right? But they also have this need, and they acknowledge that they do have this need, and they have also have a value system that I cannot cheat my partner. If they are in an empowered state, they would happily and consciously, by after communicating, move out of the relationship. They'll not continue to be in the relationship and keep cringing that I had this need, right? Um, so that, I mean, I went too far, but did that answer your question, Rupali?
Yeah, it did. It did. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Tejas, your hand was up. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I think almost everything is covered what I wanted to say, but to me it looks like needs usually will result into a clear communication, setting expectations, boundaries, and if not met, then maybe it's like positively working out on it, whether to do some conscious compromise, or is it time to leave if it is beyond certain measures. And neediness, on the other hand, will eventually result into some sort of toxic behaviors, either mild sometimes or even extreme sometimes. So my question is like, let's say, how do we identify that in other person? So from our perspective, I think I understood, but is there anything that we can do to identify whether the other person is, I mean, clear communication is one way, but is there any way to identify early signs of neediness?
Hmm. I don't know. There could be different ways, but I'll just tell you how I do it. Right. So how I do it is to become really good at understanding manipulation. As much as you understand manipulation, as much as you'll have the capacity to identify neediness. Hmm? So, like I was talking before, that there is no other option, about when it comes to needs other than meeting those needs. So the thing is that if we don't meet it, we meet it subconsciously. And how we meet it subconsciously, there has to be some or the other kind of manipulation involved. And manipulation per se doesn't have to go to the extent of gaslighting somebody or anything. To be honest, we all manipulate. You must have seen some really sweet people around, and who are people pleasers, and they're so sweet and nicely talking and giving compliments and everything. But when you see that there is difference, so let's suppose there is a people pleaser person, right? And in their behavior you see that their words and actions and things do not match, and you sense that this doesn't seem like a very sincere compliment. Okay, there is one thing to observe there, right? Then what are the forms of things we can do? Like, for an example, every time, let's suppose, you know okay, for an example, I know some people, I wouldn't say make it general, but I know some people and they keep falling sick again and again and again, right? And sometimes falling sick too often without a reason. Everything is going fine and nice, and they'll be like, "अरे आज तो बुखार हो गया, आज तो cough हो गया and cold हो गया और पता नहीं क्या क्या हो गया, सब कुछ हो गया." And the moment they say that, for an example, let's suppose I get a cut in my hand. It's painful, it hurts me, but I'll not go around talking about it to everybody, right? But there are people who would be like, "Oh, see what happened to me." There are people who would themselves self harm themselves so that they can get attention from other people, right? Or people who blame, who people who start criticizing and use too much of this language, right? "You did this to me, this did this to me, because of that person this happened to me." And so that kind of language, where it's always about other people, it's always about complaining, it's always about this. So they are basically making other people a scapegoat so that they can get something from you, your sympathy, your attention, your love, right? So these are just some of the examples. If you understand the different in different human ways in which we manipulate, all of us do that some or the other point of time, right? And then you will see that how directly it links to neediness. Because if whatever we need, if we could achieve it directly, we wouldn't have to people please. We wouldn't have to do use any of these tactics. But something we have inside which makes us feel that if I ask for it, it's that something will go wrong. Yeah, so that's how I gauge it. Does that answer your question, Tejas?
Yes, exactly, Anavika. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yes, Smita, your hand is up.
Yeah, hi. I have two questions. Can I ask both?
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, so my first is how much importance should we give to our needs when it comes to now, means one side we have I have my needs, second side I have my responsibilities. I don't want to look selfish. I don't want to be selfish. So where how do I make a decision there? That is one. And my second question is I have suffered a lot because I haven't understood my own needs. I did not put them, at the right priority. But then I don't want my kids to do that. How do I make them um, empowered, if that's the right word, to understand their needs and give it right priority in their life?
Right, right. Very, very good question, Smita. Yes. So the first question that you have, that now, needs versus responsibilities, which one do I choose? So now let's suppose you are hungry. How much food do you eat?
As much required.
Correct, correct. Whatever is required to fill your stomach and make you feel okay, right? So
Mm-hmm.
likewise, the beauty of needs is such that it's not greed, right? It's not something which is out of bounds. So if people say that, if I it uh, uh, yeah, thanks, Rohini. Yes. So if people say that, if I eat, I'll start overeating and I'll keep eating all the time. No, you have a specific amount of hunger at that time. Likewise, if you have a need for, let's suppose, love and connection, so that also has an end for a moment. So let's suppose your hunger के measurement में लेते हैं, एक कप connection की जरूरत है, right? तो एक कप connection जैसे ही fill होगा, you will be fulfilled and you will actually have more energy to focus on your responsibilities. So actually, um, I wouldn't say कि हमेशा हमारे पास time होता है that we can meet 100% of our needs right away, but make majority of your needs a priority. And trust me, they all have a limit. कोई भी क्योंकि human beings का ना, if I tell you, the first two basic needs are certainty and variety. Hmm? And these are just on the opposite spectrums. We want certainty also, we want variety also. Both are our fundamental basic needs. You have a certain amount of certainty, you go for variety. You have a certain amount of variety, you seek certainty. This is just basic human nature. So your needs are not out of bounds, they have a limit. Meet them. Most of them, they will give you energy and balance so that you can now meet your responsibility. हाँ, बाकी जो बची खुची होगी, acknowledge that. And then when you make sure that, okay, is ये, let's suppose this need of mine is going to require half an hour of mine, right? तो ये मैं इसके बाद कर लूंगी. That answers your question.
Yes, got it, Anamika. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Cool. Cool. Anybody else?
And
Yes,
my
Smita.
second question was how do I make my children
Hmm. So
understand?
yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me that. So, see, children basically from the age of, let's suppose, 0 to 11, 12, majorly, um, और आई कैन से 8 9 लेट्स सपोज, क्योंकि 11 12 की एज में रैशनैलिटी काफी डेवलप हो जाती है. सो 8 9 की एज तक द मेजोरिटी पोर्शन इज फेल्ट परसेप्शन, right? So children do not have that developed rationality that adults have. So that make they can make conscious choices. They can, and that doesn't mean that we don't respect their choices and what they want. With what they ask through their feeling is very much right and good, but they don't have that rationality to factor in so many different things. Now, the way children learn, so if you go to your childhood and you see your 5-year-old self, at that time, how was the world around you? You did not know that, how I should do certain things, how I should behave. So you had open eyes and you would keep looking around, to your parents, to people around, to your, and maybe, somebody whom you admire, somebody whom you like, and all of these things. And that's how you keep grasping things. So likewise, your son or daughter, they will also look up to you, because most of our important things come to us from our parents, because our parents are kind of like our role models. We want to follow them. So you meet your needs. You, whenever there is time for you, let's suppose I'm taking an example, there is time for you to meditate. Hmm? And you want half an hour to meditate, so you just prepare a space for yourself. You tell everybody, including your children in the family, that please don't disturb me for next 30 minutes. If you need anything, if you want anything, go ask this person, go ask that person, right? Or maybe you do this for 30 minutes, just I want to do this for myself, right? Or you set this boundary with them very clearly that for 30 minutes, I'm going to do my yoga. So please, you do this, or you uh, take out time for this, right? So this will empower them as well. And this will, show them that you respect your space. So they will also learn to, when they grow up, to do certain things where they can respect their own space, where their space is respected. And when they see that you are communicating so clearly to them, they will also learn how do they communicate it to somebody else. But the best way to teach children anything is to do it and show them how to do it.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Only preaching doesn't help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
And
Ananta.
yeah, and one more thing, I mean, for everybody that, for your children, let's suppose you want to tell them how to respect their needs, is to first also, we need to become aware of what our needs are, because unfortunately, most of us are not even aware that what are our needs. So meeting them is a far-fetched thing, right? We don't even know um, what are the things that are required, and we feel so much anxiety, stress, worry, and we feel so much overthinking happening, so much chaos inside us all the time. But it's so simple that if we just simply understand that, this is my need and this is the need that I want to meet at this point of time, we can actually make things a lot easier for ourselves. Yeah, yeah. Who wants to?
One thing, sorry,
Yes, yes, Smita.
one thing that just came to my mind with regards to children is on this topic. Um, After the age of 10, or some those who are, let's say, in teenage, if they express some need, and as long as rationally it is right, it is good, so we should respect that, and that will also make them mm, understand, how to express themselves in future. And if they are not getting the right response, what to do about it, if that relationship is good for them or not. If we start
Yes,
if we start denying things to them when they deserve, or when it is not wrong, then that will kind of create a negativity in them. I don't know if I'm right. Just a
No, no,
thought.
absolutely. That's a very good point. So we also need to be very conscious of, when we say no to children,
Yes.
how are we saying that, right? Because they are children, they are sensitive, and they are feeling oriented, right? So it's not only about just bol diya or something, but there could be better ways of communicating. There could be more grounded ways of communicating, and we can take their opinion into picture as well while we tell them something, so that they don't feel that we are always imposing things, but we make them more empowered, that they play a important role in their life and they're capable to make decisions. So there could be better ways to communicate, of course.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Smita. Yes, Prerna, your hand is up. Uh, in case you're talking, we cannot hear you. You're on
Uh,
mute.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
speaking. Can you hear me now?
Now we can. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so, like I mentioned to you before, that I'm currently undergoing the grief program on Anonymify subscription. So, while journaling, I've realized that I never ask for my needs to be met. So, I have a need to prioritize the needs of others. And this has kind of created a kind of confusion in my mind, that who, after all, is responsible for meeting the needs? How much am I responsible, and how much is the other person responsible? So it has created that kind of a confusion in my mind, that, whose responsibility is it ultimately to meet those needs?
Very good question, Prerna. This is very good. So it's not about whose responsibility it is, or it is 50-50% hai ya aisa kuch. There is no measurement, right? It's
Mm,
life, it's contextual, it's situational in nature. But the beauty is, when you learn to respect your own needs, you will feel attracted to people, and you would want such kind of people in your life who are capable to meet your needs. Now, who are the people who are capable to meet your needs? Um, so the people who, you know, in the right way. So I'll use the word in a right way, in a healthy way. Not the way you are doing it, huh? कि दूसरों को सब कुछ दे दिया, over giving कर दिया, and then you
mm,
yourself are like drained. Not that way.
mm,
So people who are in that healthy, in that secure attachment style mindset, उनको भी पता है that how they can meet their need, how they can meet your need, right? आपको भी पता है कि how you can meet your need, how you can meet their needs. Because see, चाहे हम कुछ भी बोले, चाहे हम कितने भी empowered हो जाए, कुछ भी हो जाए, but we are human beings, we seek connection and love. ये हमारा one of the fundamental nature है हमारा. हमें वो connection की जरूरत होती है, regardless of how much we deny it. So हम healthy relationship पे जाना is a very beautiful thing, right? The only thing is कि या तो हम unhealthy में चले जाते हैं, या हम healthy में जा सकते हैं. So when you know how to honor your needs, when you know how to meet your needs in a healthy way, you will feel attracted to people who can also meet your need in a healthy way.
right.
And if we are in a space like you described, you will
Mm,
always feel attracted to a person who would always want you to meet his needs, but he will not, meet your need, because that is not his priority. He got attracted to you because his priority was only to meet his need, not the
mm,
relationship,
mm,
right?
correct.
So this line which we use so many times in so many calls, that needing someone because you love them is not the same as loving someone because you need them,
Mm,
right? So needs तो रहेंगी रहेंगी, needs कहीं जाने वाली नहीं है, right? लेकिन
mm,
uh, when we are in a healthy state, we are neither desperate, we don't feel that we are not good enough, we don't deserve it, we don't have a judgment for our needs, right? We understand कि हाँ हमारी needs हैं, हमें भी पता है कैसे मीट करनी है, और हमें ये भी पता है कि जब कोई पार्टनर होगा तो उससे मांगना कैसे, हाउ डू आई आस्क फॉर हिम फ्रॉम हिम और हर. But when we are in the insecure state, we don't know how to ask, right? And then we play games, then they play games, and everybody's playing games. So that is the other side of the sentence: loving someone because you need them. Both the people are coming in the relationship only because of needs, because there is a codependency, and they're calling it love. It's not love,
Right.
it is dependency.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Prerna. Yes, Palak, you're next.
Yes, hi Anamika. Uh, so actually, I have two questions. Half of them is answered only already by the other people questions, but I'm still not clear in my head. So my first question is like, how do we clearly identify what our needs are? I am asking this question specifically because you just explained that if you are raising a child, then how you get them aware of what their needs are. But now we are already in adulthood, and when I was in a relationship, I actually didn't know that I have certain needs, or there is something called as needs जो हमें पूरी करनी होती है and all. So right now, when I am out of the relationship, I realized, okay, I was suffering because this things are not getting accomplished by my partner or by myself. So at that time also, I wasn't clearly aware of what my needs are. I want to clear on this, that how can we identify them. And you said that communication is the best way to explore your needs to your partner. But for that communication also, we need this picture clear in our head, that what our needs are. And my second question is, how do we analyze our needs, that they are actually our needs and they are not coming from any selfish criteria? Like, because when I was in the relationship, so I had these kind of moments wherein I expressed my needs or my things that I wanted or lacking in my relationship to my partner, but he somehow manipulated me or gaslighted me at that time, and even though blamed me for having such needs, and blamed me in such a way that it made me a horrific person in my own eyes. So for the very long time, I wasn't able to process that I'm such a bad human being, or like that man is portraying, or I'm not a good girl to be being married. So in this way he portrayed the things. So I wasn't actually sure of whether I was asking the things to him was actually right or wrong, or my needs that are actually my needs. So how do we stand firm on that, that if someone is disobeying our needs, it was clear now that he wasn't in that zone to accomplish my needs. And that is clear, and that's why he manipulated and gaslighted me. But then how do I stop myself to self-blame or to self-doubt myself that it happened because of me, because I asked him too much or something like that?
Hmm. Hmm. So, see, first of all, for this particular instance, whatever you're going through, you need to process this one, right? That, but the thing is that, whatever happened through this relationship, right? It was like, we always say that your cup is always full. Other people bump onto you, they just bring out the content which is already there. So, like we
Mm,
talk about the insecure attachment style, right? And you already are on this journey of,
mm, mm,
completing this entire process. So, when you understand this insecure attachment styles that you have, right? And when you go through this entire process, so your needs basically, a major part of your unmet needs are actually coming from your insecure attachment styles, or I can say your inner childs. Hmm? But for you to clearly see time to time, what does that, what does those splits in you, fragments in you, the inner children that live inside you, what do they need? You first need to connect with them, right? So the best way for you to make down a list of, your own needs is that, okay, how I do it is that every time I get hurt, right, and I'm in
Hmm.
this zone where somebody else's action has triggered something in me, and
Hmm.
all of I have gotten into the loop of thoughts and emotions, and it's overwhelming and everything. I try to sit down, and I just try to see that at this point of time, what is my need which got rejected, which because of which I'm feeling such pain, right, or I'm reacting this way. So that is one thing, connecting with your own parts and seeing that why do they feel what they feel. And you're already going through that process. Once you have done that process, you'll see that it become easier and easier for you to actually find out your needs. Another way for you to do that is to just um, simply sit down, take your diary and pen, and make out different parts. So emotional needs, intellectual needs, physical needs, spiritual needs, sexual needs, or what else I can say. All of these, different categories you write down, and based on your feelings. So it would take some time for you to, have a list for yourself. But day to day, whenever you feel like elevated feelings or depleted feelings, you see when you have elevated feelings, you see that what was it that made me so happy, right? And when you have depleted feelings, you see what is it that is making me unhappy. And you just make kind of analysis with yourself and introspection with yourself that these are the things which impact me in this way. So for a
Hmm.
week, 10 days, you do this and see which all needs come up again. And another way, third way for you to do it, like how we have been doing. So when we go through this entire process, we, especially when it comes to attachment styles, we see major of the work happens in the relationship area, because that is where most of the emotions are involved when it comes to relationships. So uh, this you can do, that in your relationship area, in the past history, this has done, is done with me, right? So you gave this example that somebody else made you feel that you're a bad person for having
Hmm.
a need. Hmm?
Hmm.
So this
Hmm.
depleted you so much, this impacted you so much, that means that wound is there, right? Because see, if you were a person who was okay to have needs, what you would tell him, पता है हाँ भाड़ में जाओ, है तो है अभी, राइट, है मेरी नीड,
Okay.
अब मेरी नीड है,
Hmm.
ठीक है, इसको इसको जज करने वाले तुमसे मीट नहीं हो रही है, तो तुम ये बोलो ना कि
Hmm.
तुम केपेबल नहीं हो मीट करने के, और तुम मुझे ही
Hmm.
सुना रहे हो दैट आई हैव दैट नीड, यू आर जजिंग माय नीड. That is what,
Hmm.
how, I mean, an empowered person may or may not say it. I'm just
Hmm.
joking around it, but this is what their inner dialogue would be.
Hmm.
That
No,
है ना,
I got the idea. Yeah.
या एग्जैक्टली, बट अगर ये आ रहा है दैट मीन्स आपको तो खुद जजमेंट है ना अभी.
Ah,
हाँ.
true.
तो इसी, ये जो अभी सेल्फ ब्लेम हो रहा है, सेल्फ क्रिटिसिज्म हो रहा है, इसी के अंदर जाके देखना है कि क्या है वो, कौन सी चीज है जो ट्रिगर हो गई है, और वो कौन सी अनमेट नीड है बिकॉज ऑफ विच this thing has come out, right? Although this is, I mean, you're going through the process, you will get a gist of this overall, but I'm just explaining it to you how it looks like.
Okay. And I also wanted to know, like, how should we go far for completing our needs? As in, like, if someone is not able to fulfill our needs, even though we express them very clearly many a times. So is
Hmm.
there just only a way out to just get out of that relationship, or what if we don't able to get out, like if it is family, parents, siblings or something, then how do we like go with that? How do we complete our needs in that case?
Hmm. But can you give an example of a need?
Um, uh, Okay, suppose if I am living in my family and I don't want them to force me for marriage until unless I am ready, or I search a partner for me which I find suitable for me. I don't want them to push me for marriage. So this is my need to don't push that those triggers for me to marriage any boy or something, and don't say it in front of relatives or anyone else, and let me just be it do it in my own way. So I guess this is my need, right? So I have expressed them multiple times, but still parents being parents, they always find any methods to say me on this thing. So how do I now? They are not since I have expressed them multiple times, so so the frequency has been reduced, but still it started a time again whenever they feel triggered. Whenever they feel triggered, or when society says anything, or like in a month or two, like it always happens. So how do I then tackle this situation?
First of all, I want you to change your language that you used for this. Okay. So what you said is, I don't want them to behave like this. Hmm?
Okay.
So um, that is not a very helpful sentence to use. I would like you to use a rather positive sentence. What do you want? You actually want understanding from them,
Mm-hmm.
right? So your need is understanding, right? Now this will happen all the time in your life, right? Sometimes because the other people are not capable enough to meet your needs, and unfortunately when they are your family members, you cannot even do anything about it, right? And it would happen sometimes unintentionally. So let's suppose you have a partner and you go through a bad day, you want to talk to them, you have a need to share this with them, but they are just too busy in the office. It's, let's suppose, end of the month, they have to file the accounts and everything, and they're not able to come to you. So in the first situation, when the people around you are not capable to meet your needs, right? uh, what would you do? You will figure out a way to meet your own needs. So they are not understanding you,
Mm-hmm.
right? But when you see this adult and child, the interaction between the adult and child, you are all also not understanding the child in you who's feeling, who's having this need of understanding. So basically the child in you is retaliating that आप मुझे समझते क्यों नहीं हो, क्यों? क्योंकि there is a wound that child holds, जो शायद 20 साल पहले बना होगा, where you started feeling that they don't understand you, right? So
Okay.
in this
Okay.
case, you have to come to a space where you are able to provide that understanding to yourself, because this happens in life all the time. Trust me, humans, these are so beautiful relationships that we can meet each other's needs, we can validate each other, enable each other, love each other. At the same point of time, we need to understand that people who themselves are operating from insecure attachment styles, they will not give importance to this, because their intention is to first is to get things done their way. Their idea is not to provide you understanding, right?
Mm.
So for them, they need to win um, the situation, and to win the situation means things have to be according to them. So the people who are not capable to provide you with that understanding, and what can you do? I mean, if you see again, right now also this is a needy situation, right? You are asking for things from somebody who's not capable to provide it to you, right? And if you go too far to friends and everything, and you keep sharing this and overdo all of these things, that also falls in the category of neediness. So meet an important section of meeting your need is to also become capable enough to meet them alone, so that you don't fall into your insecurities and into that desperation that why is this person not understanding me. Why, let's suppose you have a vision to make a $1 million company, and people will not understand you. So the only one who will understand you is you, because you have to trust yourself that you want to do it and you're going to do it, right? So in this scenario, also you need to develop that healthy relationship with yourself that you can meet your need. And in the other scenario where people are not doing it intentionally, they're just busy somewhere, there also you develop that capacity and understanding that not all the time others need to meet my needs. I can also meet mine when others are not capable of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But at this time, like if I go with this way, then always there would be whenever someone is not meeting my need, even after I express them, I would try to understand or complete my need, and but the person still remains the same. Then what would the change? Isn't their relationship is impacting then? And what if my need is that other person should understand me? Is that could be a need too? I'm sorry if I'm asking so chaotic questions.
No. The first part of your question is that if the other person does not understand your need, then how is it going to impact the relationship? That's what you were asking?
Yeah. Like if I try to complete my need every time that the person is not understanding, okay, I should complete my need, I should understand myself and let them be. And I do it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, again and again. Now the person is even not understanding, and
No.
he has that habit of not understanding because I
No, but
always
you
kept
will.
quiet.
No. But when we reach that stage, so now you are talking hypothetically, right? But I'll tell you how it actually happens. When you reach that stage where you're able to meet your needs and you're able to ask for your needs and you're able to let people go when they are not capable of meeting your needs, because needs are basics. नीड्स आर नॉट वांट्स एंड डिजायर्स, नीड्स आर बेसिक्स. और अगर बेसिक्स भी ढंग से मीट नहीं हो रहे हैं रिलेशनशिप में, देन इट्स अ वन साइडेड रिलेशनशिप. When you have reached that stage where you are in a secure attachment style, you will not feel attracted to these kind of people, and it will not bother you, you know that if the relationship is spoiled. This language itself shows that this is the language of the anxious preoccupied, because we are always bothered about हम गलती ना कर दे, हमारे कारण रिलेशनशिप ना खराब हो जाए, other person would leave me, and 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 all the myriads of things following it. So to actually understand what the end result would be, is you reach that secure place, and there this question itself will drop.
Okay. 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 Thank you. I will try to go to that place, secure place. Thank you.
You already are. Yeah, cool. Thank you, Palak. Yes, Ashwini. In case you're
Yeah,
talking.
so
Yeah.
Anamika, yeah, Palak's questions were very illuminating. I still have a question. In the
Yeah.
sense, nobody ever calls me, my children, my parents, my sisters, my friends, and only I feel the need to call and communicate. So I feel needy most of the times. At the same time, I'm not the kind of person who would, like to have people call me and talk shop all the time. That's not me either. So I don't know how to find a balance, if that makes any sense.
No. The first part of the question is that it's always you who's taking the initiative, and the second part was.
At the same time, I don't like, people keep calling each other every day and talk shop and gossip. And I don't like to indulge in that kind of thing also. So is it because I don't indulge in that kind of thing? So I am always calling people and not the other way around.
हम्म हम्म या इसी को हम बोलते हैं दोनों बैडमिंटन दोनों साइड से खेलने की कोशिश करना. Yes, and this does nothing but it makes us tired. So basically this is a very good example of cognitive dissonance, hmm, where you have two contradictory beliefs that there is this thing that you want, but at the same point of time there is a part of you who doesn't want it. So wanting and not wanting, दोनों साथ
No,
साथ में
meaning I want my children to at least sometimes call and ask whether I'm living, whether I'm all right, something like that. And there are times when I need to call my friends and share whatever I'm going through, or obtain sort of share validation or sharing. But it's always me who is calling. It's rarely somebody else calling me.
Hmm, hmm. Right. And did you try making different set of friends?
I'm trying right now,
Yeah. So, I mean, I understand that there are some truths which are just kind of sad, I can say. Like for an example, I want I always had that need that my mom would, let's suppose, understand me someday or appreciate me someday. So fighting, years and years and years of fighting. But then there comes a point where it's like understanding that maybe she doesn't have the capacity to understand me, because for her to understand me, she too would have to grow, she too would have to evolve and see things from a different perspective. And if she chooses not to, it's just that I have to figure out ways that in which I can meet my needs of appreciation and understanding through myself or with the help of people who are capable to do that, right? So that's how I see it. So one very important thing which helped me in this process is reinforcing this again and again, by seeing the other individual not as a relative but just as a human being. So like it's not an easy thing, I'm just saying it in a way, but when I reached a point where I could see her not as my mom but just as a human being, when I started seeing my sister like that, my brother like that, my friends like that, X, Y, everybody else, wherever there was this hurt, and I saw that, sometimes it's just that people are not capable to do that, and we feel hurt because we have that, relative wala cheese, that this is my son, this is my daughter, this is my father, this is my mother, regardless of what title they have. If they're not capable, it's just that they're not capable. I mean, just a harsh truth.
Does that make me needy though?
uh mm, yes.
So how do I stop being needy?
So at one part what you're saying is very natural and normal, but going beyond that, when we see, we also have to see if the other person is capable or not. If they're not, and yet knowing that, if we keep expecting that to happen, we are just digging ourselves a hole of neediness.
As in, no one has ever refused to take my call or listen to me or my woes or something like that. But I keep feeling like I am the needy person for wanting that connect or, wanting to sort of share my woes or whatever.
So basically, your issue is that why they don't initiate.
Yeah, and why they don't ever want to tell me what is happening in their life, kind of.
Hmm.
Why it is always me sharing my woes rather than other way around. Both
Right.
initiation, concern, and also why they don't tell me what is happening in their life. Like they find solutions somewhere else, and I am only the person who is wanting, to be heard or seen or whatever.
Hmm. Hmm. So basically, what I am feeling that it's not your need to. So basically, your need is a need of contribution that you also want to contribute in their lives. You also want to listen to them, know about them, play a role.
Partly, and partly it would help me to not feel so needy, because it's only one sided. Like I am going to them when I am feeling bad or I want to connect or something like that. But
No, but then
uh,
then they are not saying that you are needy, na? You yourself are telling yourself that I'm needy.
yes, but is that right? That's what I was asking you.
No, it's not.
Okay, then why is it that they don't call and ask me how you are, mother? Are you living? Are you well? Or they never
Because
tell me what
because
their problems are.
yeah, because before they miss you, you already are there. So they are like कि अगर हम नहीं भी करेंगे तो आप तो कर ही लोगे.
अच्छा, तो ना करें.
Hmm. Try that. You can try that as an experiment. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
तो
Yeah.
अच्छा रवैया हो गया है कि मैं ही फोन करती हूँ.
Hmm.
So, Ashwini, I have a question here. You are saying, other people don't call you. So, are they not calling other people as well, or it's just with you?
Um, I don't know that.
So, find out that because that is the need to call.
Uh, my son doesn't call anyone. I don't know about my sisters. No, I think we belong to a family who doesn't call that often, except, But I call people and tell them that this is happening to me and I'm going through this. And I think I seem to be having an unending series of accidents or something like that. Whereas they all seem to be pretty sort of level-headed and balanced. But that is not possible, right? So they must be talking to someone.
No,
I don't
see,
know
I'll
who.
tell you from my side because I am one of those person who doesn't call anyone. In my family, everyone calls, other people, but I don't call. But yeah, they keep calling me, and whenever they,
Dada, your
uh,
voice is breaking.
am I audible now? I'm just moving to another room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Better.
So
Better for you.
I am from the other side in which I don't call people. You know,
It's
like
again.
shaky.
It's again very shaky.
Okay, is it fine now? Is it fine? Not for
Not
you.
for me.
Yeah, right now
Too
it's
far.
fine.
Yeah, slow down a bit.
Yeah.
What you're
Okay.
saying,
Okay.
so you can go
So,
ahead.
I don't call people in my siblings and all, but they keep calling whenever there is something or some suggestion and all. But I usually don't call people. So that is my nature, and they understand that. She doesn't call anybody. So they know it. It's not about the ego. It's my nature. So you have to find out whether it is coming from the ego or it's their nature. The person is not calling. So if it is a nature, then it has then acceptance needs to come. See, otherwise, if it is ego, then you have to definitely address it. Ego or something else. So some people are introvert, they don't share, they keep it to themselves. They think that small things, they can take care of themselves. They don't approach people for small stuff. Some people they share everything. So it's about the nature. You don't have to feel bad about it.
They all also seem to be having someone. My children have their spouses, my parents have each other, my sisters have their spouses. I'm the only loner who needs someone else outside at times.
I wouldn't agree on that one because it's our sometimes we create hypothetical situations that has not happened or is not there, is not true. So I wouldn't say that unless they say it, I don't think you should be thinking on those lines. So it's that it's that your children. So I don't see a reason to not to call them and tell them about your day-to-day activities. And yet, the pressure they usually don't call. I mean, I don't call my mom. She keeps calling, but I don't call. I'm like, I haven't had that person maybe, but yeah, I keep getting the complaints that why don't you call sometimes? So even if I'm free, I don't know. It doesn't like me to call, but if they call, I definitely discuss things. Yeah.
Yeah, can I add something for you? Ashwini, right, who asked the question?
Yeah.
Like for example, Lata said like it's some people's nature to not call, but I guess it's up to you whether you. This is what I feel now, whether you are okay to accept their nature and continue the one side calling, whether they are when they are not initiating any contact with you. And if you are not okay, if that's your requirement that I'm not okay with this kind of a one sided relationship, it's up to you to stop calling them also. So it's a choice you can make as to what is okay for you, your need, and what is not okay. So when you are able to fulfill your need, then you won't come off as needy, and you can move on and maybe like find people who attract people who fulfill that need of yours where it's 50-50, maybe. Like that's all. I mean, it is tough. It is tough to cut away when it's people you love, but again, then either way, why keep suffering? So just once and for all decide. I mean, that's all.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Both of you,
Very,
Lata
very
and
good
Rohini.
pointers.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. So Ashwini, also you can ask them.
So Anamika, I'm not needy.
No, what I was saying, you can just directly ask them that I would like to understand this, and this is how I feel, and
Express
can
my
I,
need.
yeah, can I
Mhm.
understand from you, how do you see this? You can just directly call and ask them, like, I mean, yeah, I too used to feel this, and then in some cases, I just accepted, and in some cases I just asked. So try the asking one.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too, Anamika. But I'm not needy. Yay.
Okay,
That's for sure. But
good.
you have to tag all those things. So you actually, I think, do not think so much on those lines. Be yourself, whatever you think is right, do that. Be yourself. Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lata. That was
Thank you,
beautiful.
Anamika.
Who's next? Smita, your hand is up. In case you're talking, you're on mute.
No, the screen had got locked. Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yes.
Okay. This is it's a question, but yeah, everyone can contribute, and just trying to understand the reasons for not prioritizing or giving importance to our needs. What usually we see that in, especially in the Indian culture. What could be the reason? One, I think, is fear to lose people, society. What
Right.
else?
CP, you want to answer that? You
No,
raised
no,
your
no.
hand for
I
that?
had a different question. Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Yes. So, Smita, the way we are raised in the society, especially women, right? So, if you see that, I've seen it in my house, that जब सब खाना खा लेते हैं, all the males and the children and the dadaji and dadiji and blah blah everybody else, and then there would be you know the females of the family, the ladies of the family who cook the food, सबसे लास्ट में जाके वो खाएंगे, जो भी बचा हुआ है दे विल बी लाइक कि अच्छा एडजस्ट कर लेते हैं, ये कर लेते हैं, बिकॉज दैट इज व्हाट वी हैव सीन आवर ओन मदर्स डूइंग, राइट? तो हमें हमेशा से ये डेफिनेशन होती है, राइट, दैट द डेफिनेशन ऑफ वुमेन इज दैट यू आर सपोज्ड टू गिव अप योर नीड, right? You're not supposed to, as so I've seen this so many times, so many women, they feel so you know, uncomfortable agar unko koi zarurat bhi hai, like I have a friend's mother, so she has, you know, some illness, and she was telling me, then I asked her that why don't you go and just ask that you need to go to a doctor? No, but if I ask to go to a doctor, it will cause trouble to my son. How will he will have to do this and that. I've seen this so much with my own mom that, you know, she would she would not come directly and tell me that, you know, I need this. She would like play around and indirectly run the story so that I get the point and I do things for her, right? Because then I tell her that अगर तुमको ये चाहिए तो तुम मुझे बोलो कि तुमको ये चाहिए, I'll get it for you. But she's like कि, but she would then go silent and she would be like, नहीं, but मैं तुझे परेशान नहीं करना चाहती, राइट? तो परेशान तो मैं ऐसे भी हो रही हूँ इनडायरेक्टली, बट शी फील्स कि अगर वो साफ साफ बोल देंगी तो परेशान हो जाऊंगी मैं. Then the society thing, the culture thing, what is being brought in the family. So, I mean, I don't want to blame men. A patriarchy is not about men, right? Patriarchy is about both the genders. So it's a truth that we have for years and years, hundreds and thousands of years, we have lived in a patriarchal society. So there are times when, you know, especially women, they just disregard most of their needs because through examples, through teachings, through language, they were told that if they have that need, they are selfish. They are a bad lady. They have a bad character. धीरे धीरे बात करना, ऐसे नहीं चलना, ऐसे बैठना, ऐसे उठना, everything is guided. Now, ये तो हो गया cultural, societal kind of reasons. But as a human level, तो ऐसा तो नहीं है that men know how to meet their needs, right? As a repercussion of the same, men became so closed that most men, you know, have trouble sharing what they feel, right? Because they also have to hold up a strong face and they have to show to everybody that they are not weak, they are not emotional, they are blah, blah, blah. So I'm not saying 100% of men are like that, but I'm just talking about, you know, how it usually is. So it's very hard for them to, you know, be open up, vulnerable and talk. So they also don't know how to meet their needs. So ratio wise, if we see that, so it was more evident to women because it was more in the evident area. But if we see in the emotional areas, in these kind of areas, it's a different, it comes out in a very different way. But as humans, you know, whenever, so needs are not just physiological. There are so many different kind of needs. And every time when you, let's suppose you're a small 5-year-old child and you want to behave in a certain way, regardless you're a man or a woman, you want to behave in a certain way. Somebody came and told you that you are not supposed to do this. This is wrong. This is bad. Or if you do this, there will be these many consequences, right? And then comes the judgment that, okay, I was needing to be happy, or I was needing to do this, or I wanted a pencil or pen or notebook. For asking that, I'm a bad person. So I'm not supposed to ask that. Why? Because I'm seeking love and connection from my family and friends and parents. So now there is this contradiction which is there. So now as we grow up with different people, there could be different scenarios. Every time a need comes up, we start feeling that, oh, if we ask for this, there will be repercussion, there will be consequences. So this is supposed to be bad. You know, this need is supposed to be bad. And a lot of things are generational also. We keep passing these things on. Yeah, that makes sense for you, Smita?
Yes, absolutely, Anamika. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Ashwini, your hand is still up. You want to say something?
No, thank you. But it just occurred to
Akarma, can
me
you hear me?
that when you were
Uh-huh.
saying that, we are taught that we have to behave in a certain way, maybe, my this uh, need to talk to people and feeling guilty about it stems from that behavior pattern where I'm told that no, you're not supposed to open up and divulge your needs like that, or connect or talk openly. So that would be a split, right? And I would need to do split segregation. Is that right? Or is that just my
Yes.
masculine
Yes.
behavior developed over the years as a single
Mm,
mother?
no, no. But if these instances are there and you are aware, then there is a very high chance that this behavior itself is stemming from that. So behaviors are stems of the tree. Instances, these things which happen are the roots of the tree. So we work on the roots, the behaviors automatically, adjust. At least most of it automatically adjust. If it has become, very rigid, then it slowly goes away. But yeah, if you are aware that this happened, then why not?
So accepting the need to be vulnerable or sharing or the connect and to work on the splits integration. That is the solution. Is that it?
Yes, yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. CP, you want to go next?
Yes, Anamika. Hi. So I have this question that when we are talking about, our needs and being neediness. So how do we find? How do we find a balance between meeting our own needs and having an interdependent relationship with our partner? One second. Because if we are able to meet our own needs most of the time, then do we really need a partner? And then how healthy will that state be? I mean, should we really aspire to achieve that state?
I couldn't hear the last sentence. What did you say?
That is it, healthy to aspire that space where we are actually able to meet our own needs? Because if we are meeting our own needs most of the times, then would we really need a partner in our lives? Basically, I want to understand how do we maintain our, balance.
Hmm. So one of the basic needs, fundamental needs that we have as humans is a need of connection, love and connection, right? Another fundamental need that we have is a need of certainty, which includes security, safety, right? And so many different things. So, see, being capable enough to meet your own needs does not mean that, uh, okay, now I'm capable to meet my own needs. First of all, it's not true that we are capable enough to meet all our needs. But when it comes to most of them, we are capable enough to do that. And when we are in that healthy state, we don't have an inhibition to ask from the other person to meet that need. So we have this healthy balance where we are if the other person is not available, we are okay to meet our need. We don't start questioning that, why they are not doing this, why not. We don't go in that role. We are okay. We just wait that they are busy, they will come back. If let's suppose this person is not there for 6 months, he has gone to some trip, right? Then I have some other friend, right? Or somebody else. Or if I am myself have gone to for a 6-month trip, right? And I don't have that social connection or anything. So I just don't become too overwhelmed and too like going crazy about it, that what do I do? I'll go mad if this and that. We acknowledge that I have a need for that connection. When I go back, I will again meet people, again have this, right? So the only thing that is eliminated in the process is the desperation, is the over part of it, right? Where we, over and under part of it. So we be in the middle. We be in the middle, because when we get it, good. When we don't get it, that is also good, right? And having this sense of understanding for your needs also gives you your capacity to look for the right kind of people who have the capacity to meet those needs of yours. Because of course, for an example, somebody has a sexual need. It's how is it possible that you can feel you can fulfill all your need on your own? Because when we talk about sexuality, it's not about sex at all, right? I mean, it is about, but most of it is more about that connection, that intimacy that you have. And that experience is something that you can experience with another being. So you want that, but you don't lose your balance, that अरे आज नहीं मिलेगा ना, तो फिर तो मेरा क्या होगा? You know that abhi bhi I'm okay, alone also I'm okay, with someone also I'm okay. Both the situation I'm okay. I'm okay to ask also. I'm okay to meet my need also. Both the situation, right? So that state doesn't mean that 100% of your needs you can meet and you are going to meet. No, that's just developing a capacity where you're capable enough to have patience and to ask for it from the right people.
Okay, I got that, Anamika, because I just, remembered a conversation which we had on these calls somewhere around an year back, and I think Rashmi was there. I don't know if she's there on the group or not, and she was talking about how nice it is to be with one's own self, and after a while, we don't find a need to, put an effort, like going out of our way and putting an effort to find a partner and be with him. And sometimes I do feel that same thing, that how worthy it is to, put that effort to be in a relationship or etc. etc. But yeah, what you said, it makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, CP. Anybody else wants to say anything or ask anything? Cool. If nobody has anything else to add, then we'll wrap up this call and then we'll meet you guys next Sunday. Cool. If any of you want to discuss any specific topic, feel free to drop a suggestion. And if you feel like sharing anything, you have a question, we will be connected in the group. Cool. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great evening. Enjoy dinner. Take
Thank
care,
you. Thank
guys.
you,
Bye
Namita.
bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.